Kia ora, it's Kerry here. We're looking now towards the mouth of the Waikato River, where it goes out to sea. You can see there's quite a bay on the inside called Maraetai Bay. The bar is fairly treacherous and ships have been lost just north of here, where they got caught in the wrong part of the bar. In 1830, November 1830, a Pākehā, Charles Marshall, at the age of 22, came on the Sydney packet from Sydney, and the Sydney packet came across the bar and up the Waikato River, not very far, just to this place, Port Waikato. And so it was that from 1830 to 1832, Marshall lived here. But it's a strategic river. It, of course, gives access to all the way up the Waikato, and significantly to the lush agricultural lands of the Waikato further south, I mean. And so this was, of course, accessed and used a great deal by Māori before Pākehā settlement. And the significant musket wars. So in 1832, Ngāpuhi came down, and they came across the Manukau harbour. They pulled their waka across a portage from Waiuku for a kilometre or two, and then they canoed down the Awaroa stream, which is about 2 kilometres inland from here, maybe a kilometre or so. And so they set to they were going to war with the lower Waikato iwi hapu. So the local hapu here is Ngāti Tahinga, then further inland Ngāti Tika, and then around Tuakau and just a bit south of there, Rangariri, is Ngāti Po. Ngāti Po is my hapu. So in 1832, Ngāpuhi came down Hongi Hika. He, of course, had acquired a large number of muskets, including in Britain, with the help of Thomas Kendall, the CMS missionary in the north. Hongi Hika had gone to Britain along with another Māori leader, Waikato, and they had come to a deal with Te Theory that he would have some land in Northland, and for that he sold them 500 muskets. Now that number of muskets was much greater than any Waikato hapu had, and so they were greatly overpowered by the time Hongi Hika came down here, and so they escaped. They had to go head inland, and they took Charles Marshall with him for protection, because it's clear that he would have been, it's pretty clear that he would have been killed. And so Ngāti Po took him under their wing, took him up the Waikato River, up the Waipa River, and there they hid as far as they could from Hongi Hika and Ngāpuhi. But Hongi Hika, there was a massive battle at Matakitaki, which is in up the Waipa River, a branch of which goes into the Waikato River around Ngaruawahia. But further inland, there was the Battle of Matakitaki, and it's estimated that 2,000 were killed at that battle. So he was protected there, and he learnt te reo Māori. He lived as Māori, and in return well, not in return, but he also taught and literacy and that kind of thing. And so and then eventually he returned, gradually moving down the river, and gradually ended up living here at Port Waikato and dying here in 1892. He's buried at Waiuku across the river. I'll talk more about Marshall because we're going to be visiting the local marae, Ora, our marae shortly. This land, though, is very significant historically. The land we're looking at was given by local chiefs to the Church Missionary Society, and particularly Robert Maunsell, who came here in around 1836. Indeed, the land which we're looking at now, which is part of the camping ground, was part of the mission station. But the mission station was placed here, or put here, because this was a very significant meeting place for Māori. For example, when it came to the signing of the treaty, about which I will speak later, there were 1,500 Māori gathered here because, well, it was a place that you could come to from across the Manukau, down the Awaroa to Port Waikato. You could come from anywhere up the Waikato and Waipa rivers to this place. And so it was accessible, and it was therefore a strategic location for Māori, and naturally a place that the missionaries thought of establishing a mission station. Some hundreds of acres were given here, including the land which is presently owned by the camping ground people. Tainui, owners of this land now, but the way in which they've got the land was not smooth. Maunsell was here for a while, and then one of the chiefs, Wata Kukatai, further inland, offered land up near Tikahonga, which is about 10 kilometres from here. And so Maunsell and the mission station moved up there. But the Church Missionary Society, the Anglican Church, didn't give the land back to the chief as one would have expected, and they would have expected. Instead, they sold the land. So when this camping ground came for sale and local people wanted to buy it, the local iwi, Tainui, they had to pay for it as they were buying just as an arm's length purchaser. There's some degree of grievance still felt about that they were buying back the land that they had originally given, and one can understand a degree of unhappiness about that. Ka kite anō.